And this is my review for Transformers Dark of the Moon Voyager class Shockwave. If you'll recall, a couple of months ago when this toy was revealed, I was absolutely squealing in delight, writing comments on my channel about how awesome it looked. I even put him up on my background and used him as my icon for a while. And I have to say, after all that hype that I put into him, he really did live up to it, because this toy is just absolutely awesome. I haven't seen a Dark of the Moon figure that looks better, in my opinion, than this guy. And granted, there are a couple of figures that I really do like. Most of the Dark of the Moon line I really don't like. I just think it's really bad. And I think that might be, a lot of the figures look worse simply because of the mech tech weapons. And I think they put more money into the gimmick this time because I think that Hasbro really screwed up by running 3 toy lines at once and lost a lot of money on the hunt for the Decepticons and Power Core Combiner waves, since I know that numerous people were complaining about that they could only find Hunt for the Decepticons toys. But anyway, that's my theory as to why a lot of the figures don't look as good as the previous movie line. But this guy is an exception because this guy's just really wicked awesome. I just really like this guy. I'll get that right out of the way. Anyway, as you can see, he's a Cybertronian tank. The box labels him, I think, as a ground assault vehicle, but really, we all know it's just a tank. It's really cool. It is kind of interesting to note, the box portrays him to be a much deeper shade of purple, as you can see, and I'm not really sure why it does that. I wonder if that's just bad photography or just the way that the toy was actually going to look at first. I'm really glad that they did change it, because this purple looks a little bit too blue. But I really like the shade of purple that they used on this guy. It's not as deep as the G1 Shockwave's purple, but it is a very nice purple. I really do like it. Anyway, here he is in tank mode. Not a whole lot to say about it. It does roll fairly well, thanks to all these wheels. He's got wheels back here, and these pieces right here spin. I like a lot of people, I'm not a big fan of this thing up near the front. I think it looks kind of weird, but oh well. I think it does form a pretty cool little backpack in robot mode, as we'll see in a minute. But very cool. Like I said, not much features. It does roll fairly well. You can, if you want, you gotta unhook this hose. This hose is very rubbery. It does look a lot like the G1 Shockwave's hose. But anyway, you can activate the mech tech gimmick if you like. And like I said, some of these mech tech weapons don't look that bad. His is one of them. Very cool. What you want to do is you want to take this gray switch right here. You want to push it forward. And as you can see, it forms this kind of triple-barreled cannon, which is really neat. And you can, like with the Voyagers, if you push it all the way, there's a little tab right here. In a little slot. You can push it down. That'll lock the triple-barreled gun in place. And it does look pretty cool. Like I said, this is one of the few mech tech weapons that I really do like. I think it looks cool. I may usually just display it with the single cannon, since that is more close to the G1 Shockwave, but you can deploy it if you want. It also does come with this piece, which, I'm not really that big a fan of. I think it looks kind of weird, but oh well, it does come with it. I'm going to take it off and leave it off for the rest of this review, seeing as I've said pretty much everything I can say about it. Anyway, that's about it for vehicle mode. Transformation on this guy, you want to go ahead and hook the hose. You can leave it on if you want, but it does become, it does make transformation extremely difficult. But anyway, first off, you want to lift up these pieces. These will form his arms in robot mode. Then what you want to do is you want to go up here, and you want to, first off, you want to untab this piece, like so, if I can get it. There we go. Yeah, you want to untab this piece. Then you want to take this front section, and you want to pull on this until it untabs from the leg. I am a little bit concerned about these tabs breaking off, seeing as they do show signs of stress up near the top of them. But if they do break, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem, but that is something to be wary about, as these tabs do seem to be a little bit on the brittle side. But anyway, untab these pieces. Then we want to go ahead and fold these pieces out, like so. Then what you want to do is you want to go back here, and you want to take these pieces, and you want to rotate them around, like so, and then rotate them down, like so. Get these pieces out of the way. And then what you want to do is there's 2 pegs right here, and 2 holes right here. What you want to do is you want to push them in until they're flush up against the chest. And that'll form kind of his rib cage, which does very vaguely look like Shockwave's old kind of window chest they had in G1, which I think is kind of neat. I do like that they took Shockwave's design and really stuck close to the G1 counterpart. I think this is the closest we're ever going to get with a movie versus toy and character looking like its original G1 counterpart. But anyway, then you want to take these gray pieces right here. You want to flip them down like so, and then flip them all the way down and tab them in. Now these little spikes will automatically flip out, which I think is cool. Then you want to take that tab that we unpegged earlier. I'm going to flip it out as a heel spur. I'll do the same on this side. I'll flip that down, tab it in. I'll go back here, flip out that tab. I'll go ahead and flip up the kneecaps. I do really like the metallic shade of purple that they used on this guy. It's really, really nice. Very, very nice choice of purple on Hasbro's part. But anyway, go ahead and flip that up. Then what you want to do is you want to rotate his arms around, like so. Then, to get his head out, it's really kind of neat, just the way that they did this head. I think it's a really, really innovative transformation. What you want to do is you want to raise this piece, then you want to rotate this whole section around, then you want to flip these pieces down, then flip this down, and then you want to rotate his head around. Then what you want to do, first off, you want to go ahead and take this piece right here above this gold bit, and you want to flip it down and then go ahead and plug the hose in. You can do it after you transform this whole thing, but it is a lot easier if you go ahead and do it now. Anyway, then you want to rotate this down. This can be kind of tricky because you do have to line up these tabs with this little circular piece, and it can be a little bit tricky. But you want to line those up like so and then tab them in. And here's what I was talking about it not looking that great in vehicle mode, but in robot mode it does form this kind of neat backpack, and I'm pretty sure he'll use this as kind of his shot charging thing in the movie. I think that'll be really, really awesome. I could totally see these things spinning around to power up this cannon, which will be pretty neat. I don't know if he'll actually transform in the movie. I personally hope he doesn't, because I think his ground mode or vehicle mode doesn't look that great. But anyway, then you want to flip out this hand right here, and there you have Dark of the Moon Shockwave. And just really, really wicked awesome looking. I just absolutely love the way this guy looks. It's very, very G1 accurate. Very, very cool. Like I said, I think of all the movie characters we're ever going to get, he's going to stick the closest to his G1 counterpart in terms of looks. I mean, he's got everything that's just screams Shockwave. He's purple. He's got the cycloptic eye. Which, speaking of which, it does have very, very nice light piping. As you can see, just really, really gorgeous light piping on this guy. You can actually, even in low light situations, it actually does light up, which I think is really, really cool. It also does have a very, very nice head sculpt. I just absolutely love this head sculpt. It just looks absolutely evil to me. Just really, really cool. And you can't really see it. It does have some tiny, tiny pieces extending over his eye, kind of like their zoom lenses almost, which I think is really, really cool. He does also have the ears they had in G1. I wish they painted him silver, but oh well, minor complaint there. Very, very cool. Anyway, for posability, and this is my main complaint about this figure, is he's nowhere near as posable as I would like. His head does rotate left and right. It is on a ball joint as far as I can tell, but it doesn't move up and down very much at all, which is a bit of a shame. He does have a hinge here at the shoulder just due to transformation. He also rotates at the shoulders, which is nice. He goes in and out at this joint, and he bends at the elbow. He does also rotate at the upper bicep, and his hands go in and out. He also does have a hand on this arm. If you want to flip it out, I usually don't, simply because I do think Shockwave should have a gun arm. But I really don't like the way that they did his arms. I think that they could have made him a lot more posable. Maybe ditched this joint and just given him elbow rotation. I think would have been a lot better. But, oh well, minor complaint there. His legs do go forward and back. They are on very tight ratchets, so they do also go in and out, which is nice. He does have hinged knee. You can technically, I guess, say that he does have a double jointed knee, but that's really just due to transformation. You're supposed to keep these knees tabbed in, but you can, if you want, untab that tab, and then you can get a little bit more posability out of it. He does also have feet that go up and down if you untab them, but again, that's just due to transformation. So, you know, he could have been a lot more posable, and that really is my main complaint about this guy, is that he doesn't have near as much posability as I would like. But anyway, he can still deploy the mech tech. Oh, the gun came out, or the hose came out. Let's go ahead and reattach that. And we'll go ahead and reattach that and that stupid hose. I really do wish that they had made this hose longer, which is another complaint. I think it would have been a lot better had they made that hose longer, and then it wouldn't come out as much. But anyway, for his MechTech weapon, he still can do the same MechTech triple-barreled gun, which doesn't look that bad in robot mode, but like I said, I usually just keep it with the single cannon to more accurately resemble Shockwave's G1 stuff. You can also, if you want, take the sword. You can't plug it. There's a MechTech port right here, right beneath the barrel, so you can plug it in and use it as kind of a bayonet. I personally don't like the look of that. I know a lot of people do, but I personally don't. You can also, if you want, let me get it out. There we go. You can, if you want, put it also on this arm, kind of have it as a sword, which, it doesn't look that bad, but again, I don't really care for this piece. I'm not really even sure if it's supposed to be a gun or a sword, but oh well. Also, if you want, you can take a 3mm clip system weapon. I forgot to get one out to show it off, but you can take a 3mm clip system weapon. You can clip it onto this clip right here. There's also a clip on his feet. For whatever reason. I think there's one somewhere on the gun. I'm not really sure where it is, but I think I did find one on the gun somewhere. But, yeah, I personally think that he just looks awesome with this one cannon. I know that technically, to be more G1 accurate, it should be on the left arm, but I don't care. I think it looks awesome regardless. So for some real quick size comparisons, first off, here he is next to Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee. So you can see he is a little bit shorter than the previous Voyagers. And like I said, I think that's because Hasbro lost a bunch of money by running 3 toy lines at once, and lost a bunch of money on the Hunt for the Decepticons line, the Power Core Combiners line. So I think that they did have to downsize in order to get these MechTech weapons, which, it is a bit of a shame that they are making their figures smaller, but oh well, not much you can do about it. So you can see he's a little bit smaller than the average Voyager, which isn't, I guess it's not like the thing you want the most, but you do have to deal with it either way, so there you go. And I do use him as my classic Shockwave, and I know that is really weird. Every video I've posted a comment on saying that I use him as my classic Shockwave has kind of just gotten some weird responses, but anyway, I'll compare him to a couple of classics figures. Here he's next to Megatron, so you can see, that's really about in scale. I think that is exactly how they were scaled in the cartoon. I think Megatron was just a little bit taller than Shockwave. Also, before I forget to mention it, I do wish they had made his eye yellow, but not really much you can do about it. So they look really, really cool together. And also, just for fun, since in the episodes regarding Bruticus's creation by Starscream, Shockwave was seen a lot by us. Was seen a lot with Starscream. So here he is next to the classic Seeker mold. So you can see, I think this is really the fault of the Seeker mold just being smaller than it should be in terms of scale. But you can see it's really not that bad. I could totally see Shockwave being a little bit bigger than Starscream. But I guess, if this was a little bit bigger, it'd be more in scale. But I don't think it looks too bad. And also, here he is next to Megatron, who's apparently going to be... he's either going to be his master, or Shockwave's just going to be kind of a separate, kind of being a separate faction almost. I guess not a separate faction, but a separate sect of the Decepticons. But very, very cool. You can see, I'm sure in the movie Shockwave's going to be a lot closer to Megatron's size, but we'll have to see. And he is not the main villain. Shockwave is not the main villain of Dark of the Moon. I'm not going to say who it is, because it was a little bit of a shock to me, and I'm sure it'll be a little bit of a shock to anybody I spoil, but he is not the main villain. But anyway, yeah, just an awesome, awesome little figure. Most of the Dark of the Moon figures, like I said, I'm kind of iffy on. I don't really like the MechTech gimmick that they put on a lot of the deluxe figures. But this guy, I think, is really, really awesome. And he is going to be one of the few Dark of the Moon purchases I am going to get. I'm going to get all the Wreckers, regardless. I might even get their Human Alliance versions, too, if I can afford it, but I'm not really sure. I'll probably get Voyager Dark of the Moon Megatron. Don't know if I'll get Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime or not, although I do think he looks pretty neat. But that and Leader Sentinel Prime and Leader Ironhide is pretty much it as far as Dark of the Moon figures I plan to get. And maybe Laserbeak. I do like Laserbeak. But anyway, getting back to the toy. This toy is just absolutely awesome. I cannot recommend it enough. I think it's just really, really awesome, and I think you should pick it up if you collect Transformers. And if you want a classic Shockwave, because I really do think he works nice as a classic Shockwave. So there you go, my look at Transformers Dark of the Moon Voyager class Shockwave. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.